pulls them out. She's like, oh my God, it's so hot. What? And like, you had me, and then you gonna cheat on me with that? Get limp dick. Hey, what is up? So I'm gonna be telling a little story time about how I lost my train of thought. Oh, about how my best friend slept with my boyfriend. Okay, if you've been on my channel, I've already done a story time, and I'm telling it with Nathaniel. Oh my gosh, he is so funny, and I'm gonna retell it, okay? But that was literally hilarious. A name for the girl, Pat. That's gonna be it. Okay. Actually, wait, is that a boy's name? I think it's both. Okay, that's confusing. Amy. Okay, her name's gonna be Amy. And the dude's name is gonna be Chuck. Sure. Let me give you a little backstory. So me and Amy have been friends for a few years. Like, we were best friends. You know, we hung out all the time. We would always like go walk the beach and just like chill and like do everything together pretty much. And that's how I was with friends. Like in middle school and high school and stuff, for some reason, I would literally have friends over for like 2 weeks straight, and we would do everything. So that's how it was with me and Amy, until one time I took Amy to a 4th of July party. Okay, and Amy was like a really goody two shoes, which like so was I, but not as much as her, especially because her parents were so absurdly like overprotective. Like, I don't really think it's controlling, but it's just so overprotective that like it kind of is, and it's kind of crazy. Sorry. I just like blew this mail like all over the place. Oh my gosh, y'all, I have been eating so much spicy food that my throat hurts constantly. Like, I constantly have heartburn, and it hurts so bad. My throat hurts like I'm sick, you know, like a sore throat. But anyways, oh yeah, me and Amy were literally best friends until I took her to this party, and she had never smoked, and so she smoked for the first time there. You know, she took like 2 hits, but that's all you need. So we go out into the woods, and we have this little group, and we're smoking and everything, and like we walk back, and it hits her on the walk back, and the party was literally in the woods. So we took like 2 steps and so on the 2-step walk back, she is like feeling it and stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, you know, have fun. Like, it's fun, you know, just chill and be happy and have fun. And okay, so she was having fun. She was having a lot of fun for a long time. She was so nice, you know, and just like slow and stuff. Like, you could tell she wasn't right, but she was at a party. She was having fun, you know. She's all slow. She's all like hanging on everybody, you know. There's this one guy that she likes and she really has her eye on, and he is like not giving her time of day, you know. And so she gets upset and everything, and so I don't know what happened. I guess it like really hit her like in a minute, because she all of a sudden she got cotton mouth so bad, and she was like really hot. And so we didn't have drinks. We had like probably I think we had a 6-pack between like 5 people, and so by this point they were gone, you know. We didn't have drinks, and so she's going up to everybody, like literally random people. I knew a lot of people. I knew like most people, because it was usually like the same crowd that we always hung out with and went to these things, but then it was always like getting bigger and bigger. So there's like at least 50 people. And so she's going up to everybody, people that like I was really close with, and she did not know at all. And so like I was following her around trying to make sure that she was like okay-ish, But so she would go up to these people and be like, hey, what is that? And, you know, they'd be drinking something, they'd be like, you know, whatever. They would say the nastiest thing, like whether it was beer or liquor, it was just disgusting, you know, like, and so they'd be like, oh, you know, Bush Light or whatever. Bud Light. I hate Bud Light. And she'd be like, oh, sweet, can I have some? And then just chug this person's drink. And then she would go to the next person, like across the way. Like she would stumble over there and be like, hey, what are you drinking? Can I have that? And then just like chug. Literally, she went up to my friend who lived across the street from me. And she goes up to him, and he has this fat bottle of liquor. And it's dark, which I don't usually do dark, but it's just like this fat ass bottle of dark liquor, bruh. And she goes up, she doesn't know what it is. I honestly didn't know what it was at that point. I was like 15, 16. But now, you know, I see it in stores and I know what it is. But she literally took it and started chugging. And, you know, I'm just sitting back like, this is what you're doing. This is what you're doing. And so this is the point, actually, where she starts to get really, really hot. And so one of the dudes who's kind of like throwing the party, we were really close with him. He was in our grade. And she's like, oh, my God. There was, okay, it was, let me back up. There was a lot of trucks just because, you know, it's kind of country where we were, and there was a lot of country boys and stuff. So there's a lot of trucks, but there was two people that we knew that like people were hanging out in their trucks because it was hot, you know, or they just want to get away from everybody or whatever, you know. There's only two trucks. And so she goes up to this dude's truck and he's not in there. It's like his sister and his girlfriend are sitting in the truck. And this girl literally like pulls them out. She's like, oh my God, it's so hot. And she like pulls them out the truck and gets in and shuts the door. And I'm watching her. She actually gets into the truck through the driver's side, and then she ends up sitting in the passenger seat for some reason. And so she's in the passenger seat. And I'm just watching her from the outside, like, bruh. And she starts taking her shirt off. Like, I was scared she was gonna take all her clothes off, okay? So, my acid reflux is so bad, I'm literally about to throw up. Anywho, end of party, whatever, we go home. Oh, the cops came, that's what happened. But we go home, and she's staying the night at my house, which was great because she could not go home. She definitely could not go home that night. Like, even though I was driving, I was not taking her home. I would take her anywhere else. So she was staying at my house, and she had a doctor's appointment at like 6 in the morning the next day. And so she gets up and leaves, and I don't even notice. Okay, well, she was throwing up all day, literally all day, which I was kind of surprised because I think she threw up that night when we got back. She probably threw up that night at the party, to be honest. I just don't remember. You know, I lost track of her after a while. But she definitely threw up that night and then in the morning before she left. And so I was really surprised that she was still throwing up. Yeah, she was throwing up all day. I think she was throwing up that next night too, and maybe the next day. So yeah, her parents came and picked her up, and they definitely found out, and she was not allowed to hang out with me anymore. And I'm like, I didn't do all that. I drove, and I drove back just fine. Like, I did not do all of that, and I know my limits, and I know how to handle my stuff, so I just wouldn't get like that, you know? That was basically mine and Amy's. Like, we were still friends, we just weren't allowed to hang out. So we would still hang out at school, like, every day and everything. And then I was dating this dude, Chuck. And no, I remember. So we did still talk every day and everything after that. But then she left our friend group to hang out with these more popular girls, which were like so mean and like just nasty to other girls, and I did not understand why she would want to be a part of that. So she left our friend group and went to hang out with them. Okay, so I didn't talk to her for like a year or two, and then my boyfriend Chuck lived in the same apartment complex as Amy's best friend. So Amy was always over there. She never really had a boyfriend. She was always so crazy about boys, but she never like had a boyfriend. And I think maybe she dated someone for like 2 days, but that's it. And so, you know, me and her, like, we didn't have bad blood at this point. It's just like, you didn't want to hang out with us anymore, so I'm just gonna be like acquaintancy, but not friendly and not like super nice. Chuck lived in the same apartment as Amy's best friend, okay? And so we will all be at the pool together, like me, Chuck, my best friend, and then Amy and her best friend, and then like they might have a friend. And then usually Serena was there. That's my best friend, so I'm not giving her a name, but so us and Serena will usually invite some dude over. Sometimes, sometimes Chuck would even have like 3 or 4 of his friends come to the pool, and then like they would all bring their girlfriends, which we were friends with. And so we like hung out with a lot of people, a lot, like all the time. We're always hanging out. It was like this tighter inner circle, but then on the outside was Amy and her friend, because they live there, and so they would just like see us and hang out with us and everything. And I'm not gonna lie, I went to the pool like every day. And so, I gotta pee so bad. Okay, so we would all hang out and everything, so it's like there was no bad blood or anything. It never really made sense to me because the people that Amy left me for and left our group for, like they were way worse. They were way more party animals than I was. Her mom just never found out, So it was really, really sad. Oh y'all, ignore this. I donated. I was literally there for like 3.5 hours, and the donation only takes 30 minutes. I was just waiting. And then they like, anyways, I don't feel like getting into it right now. But, so, we would all hang out. We was friends and everything, whatever. And then usually every weekend, people would go to Chuck's friend's house. So I'm going to give him a name. So every weekend, we would go to Chuck's friend's house. And he was like part of the inner circle. Every single weekend the inner circle pretty much would go to his house, and then there was like another outer layer of like his friends that were there. So I'm gonna name him, I don't know, I can't name him anything like of someone that I know, because then I'm gonna get confused. Camden. Okay, I'm gonna name him Camden. So me and Chuck and a few other people would go to Camden's house every single weekend. Usually it was chill. Usually it was like our group, so like 5 or 6 people, and then like some other people would pop in and out and stuff, but our group was always there. And we would usually play beer pong and listen to music and just, make a fire, do all kinds of just random stuff. Like, we would just hang out, But sometimes Camden would have, like, a party. Like, he would have more people over, and they would be, like, drunk, for real. Like, it was annoying. Usually, Camden had a girlfriend, but I guess her mom is really strict, I think, and so she was never really over there, and so Camden was always cheating on her. And so he would always have these other girls over, like many girls at a time, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I guess that could have been a red flag, but it's not like I was dating Camden, I was dating Chuck, who never really had a girlfriend before, and so he was all for me, how they be like when they're not in their hoe phase and they're in their like relationship phase, like, you know how it be, you know? And so one weekend he was over there, and I don't know why I wasn't over there for some reason. I probably had lacrosse, but he was over there and didn't think anything of it. You know, he's just hanging with the boys. I was always thought of as like one of the boys. So that's why I was always there, and like usually there it was just us and like, you know, maybe some other girls, but probably, you know, usually not. I was always the only girl. Like no matter what group I was in, I was usually the only girl. And so I wasn't over there, but everyone else was over there. And apparently Amy was over there. And I've been over there with Amy a couple times, and she's always gotten really, really fucked up, obviously, just like the last story. And I remember one time, I think they literally told her that it was like regular gummies, like gummy worms, and she ate a whole bunch of edibles. And they told her it was gummy worms. And so she was like, she was not okay. I've seen people green out like really, really bad, and people have like different, you know, they act differently, they do different things. I've literally passed out, like greened out. I just will like collapse on the floor. And so yeah, I've seen people like shake. People look like they're literally having a seizure sometimes. Okay, well, she was throwing up for so long, and like she couldn't talk, she couldn't really do anything, like she was stuck pretty much. And then she was just throwing up for like hours. So, you know, she gets really messed up anytime ever, but I just wasn't worried. And so he's over there. Honestly, I don't even know if I knew that she was over there, but I literally don't care. Like, I feel like none of them really liked her. She was just always there, you know? She would just show up or like, you know, whatever. But I feel like none of them even liked her. So then, you know, me and my boyfriend, you know, be hanging out, whatever. We think everything's cool and all. You know, I don't know anything. I knew something was up with him, but he would just say, I don't know. You know, like, I was confused, but I definitely didn't jump to conclusions. I didn't assume anything. And so probably the next week, I was at, what's his name? I was at Chuck's pool. And Amy and her friend show up, and they see me, obviously. Like, they didn't look at me hard or like stare at me or anything, but they definitely saw me. And they didn't like wave or come over or anything or say hi like normal. And so I was like, you know, whatever. And maybe they just want to have their time and me have my time. You know, I don't care. And so I think it's like the next week after that, Amy is at my house, and you know, like, we're hanging out. I invited her over, we're hanging out, you know, talking. It was getting time for her to leave. She had to go in like 5 minutes or something, and we're just talking, and it literally comes up in conversation. Like, she was like, oh, I thought you knew. I was like, knew what? And she's like, I slept with Chuck. I was like, what? Like, I really just did not understand. I'm like, what, you like some other kind of Chuck? And she's like, no. It took me a minute, basically, but she's like, yeah, I was really, really drunk, and you know how I get when I'm drunk, and like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. There was tons of dudes there. You could have picked anybody else. Like, why? And she said she didn't mean to, like, she didn't even remember or like whatever. And so I talked to Chuck, and he's like, oh, you found out? I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand why people don't say anything or like why people lie or have secrets, but it's the fact that I literally couldn't do it. Like, I could not do that to someone. I could not, if I did ever cheat on someone, I could not lie about it. I could not sit there and talk to them every day and, you know, act like everything's fine and not tell them. Like, no. But I've never cheated on anyone. But he said it was rape. He literally said that it was rape. And I was like, I know boys can get raped, but like I just don't see how it's physically possible. Like, cause she's not an attractive girl. You know, she is probably like 300 some pounds, like at 16, you know, almost 300 pounds. And so, you know, she had big old glasses, never wore makeup, which, like, you know, that's not a problem. I'm just saying, like, you had me, and then you gonna cheat on me with that? Like, I was just so confused. I didn't understand. But she was, like, a really big whore, and we all knew that. But I never thought that would happen. I never, ever expected that. But no, my boyfriend said that it was rape. And yeah, I was just like, it couldn't physically happen. Like, I still don't get it. Because he said that he was really drunk too. And so I just don't know how that would even like work. You know? Get limp dick or whiskey dick or whatever. Like, I just don't get it. But y'all, that's that story. This is for Amy. Cause she a fat whore. Okay, y'all, be safe and have fun out there, and don't ever stay with somebody who cheats on you. Ever. Okay. Bye.